development. Dr. Maganga has contributed in the designing of control and the software strategies for propulsion and charging for several JLR vehicles platform from concept phase to the production solution. So, what Dr. Maganga does, you know, you expect the IA to do things. It's like a living AI. He's like a living artificial intelligence individual. So if you need some things to do with the software development, you know, like you have your car, it goes to Bluetooth, it works miraculous. These people, like him, are behind that kind of technology. Dr. Maganga expertise lies within advanced control design and embedded software development for various vehicles, ECUs, and I don't know what those are, he will explain himself. His research interests include diagnosis and prognosis of electrical vehicle components. Do you know the government here has a policy? After 2030, we will have to be phasing our cars. We may need all of us to go electrical, you know? So Dr. Maganga, he is now doing a diagnosis and the prognosis electrical vehicle component. You expect to get a prognosis when you have illness. He does it for the car components. That's what he's doing. Artificial intelligence and machine learning, cyber security, and the functional safety. So in front of us, we have our fellow Tanzanians who have great ideas. If you do not understand certain things that they present, you can try to pick up the holistic idea of the sort of work they do and how they've committed their life in their field of expertise and how they push forward technology, economy of the country and of the organization that they have established or those that they are working with. I've gone past, I think, one of slide for Dr. Maganga. Dr. Maganga previously worked as a lecturer in control engineering at Coventry University. Dr. Maganga is an active researcher and he continues to supervise PhD research projects, acting as industrial supervisor. He has worked in collaboration with several UK universities, including Coventry, Loughborough, Southampton, Imperial College London, Oxford, and many others. Dr. Maganga has several patents on control system and charging related patents. So he has got patents. You can learn today, if you want to register your patent, he's your man. You can learn how he's done that. You can later have conversation with him. Dr. Maganga has published several research articles in the automotive area. So you are welcome to listen to their presentation. You are welcome to see the work they have done, how they have advanced in their field of expertise. However, in their presentation as well, we have this theme for their community meeting today as we are celebrating our independence, which is about freedom, unity, and welfare. You can see how they have managed to progress in their field of expertise. And that also describes elements of welfare, because welfare is about opportunities, welfare is about fortunes, welfare is about health and progression. So you can be able to reflect within those terms. And after their presentation, there will be a time to ask questions, and you will all be welcome. So it is my honor today to present to you Dr. Kiaruzi Imani and Dr. Maganga Othman. You are welcome, sirs.
When I was asked to present today on the forum, and then I was thinking, I think it was Thursday. That's when I got the news. And I was saying, okay, what do I need to talk about? Yeah. especially on Independence Day. Takuwa na changanya. I'll be trying to speak English and Swahili because we have our delegates who can only speak English, and majority of Tanzanian, 100%, I think they do speak English and Swahili. So I think probably more be inclusive if I try to speak in English. My title of presentation today, it will be Challenges and Opportunity Towards 21st Century Global Technological Advancement. Yeah. So because Sister Rachel has done a very good job to describe me, what I'm doing, so I'm not gonna go through my profile in detail. Okay, just 1 minute. Yeah, here we go. Fantastic. So I'll skip the about me. If you want to know more about me, we can discuss about it. But in summary, I'm a software and control engineer. So the first topic I'll start will be the reflection of 63 years of our independence. Yeah. So from the time we got independence in 1961, today, what have we achieved and where we are relative to the other countries. And then I will talk about some technological advancements which happened in 21st century. I think I found myself to be very lucky. I think all of you should feel very lucky. We born in the time there's a massive technological changes and advancement which has happened. And we do need to appreciate those advancements, and we do need to be, keep our eyes open and make sure that we are tapping into that that opportunity. And I'll finish with a conclusion. So I'll skip that. So now, just to give you the background, from the time when we got the independence, our population was around just about 10 million in 1961. And since then, so we are quite fast in terms of growth. I think by the 2022, we were around 62 million approximately. So it depends from whichever source you look at. So it could be variable, this number. But we are projected to move to 130 by 2050, and probably will be one of the largest country by 2200. So 2100. Majority of us, unfortunately, won't be here. Yeah. However, our country will be one of the top 4 in Africa. So there is a future for Tanzania coming forward. So also our life expectancy increased. So it was only 44 years by the time we got independence in 1961, and it has raised to 67. So what does it mean? If you take a plane today from the United Kingdom going back to Tanzania, your average age is reduced by 10 or 12 years just by taking that plane, because the average age in the UK is around 79 for men and 81 for women. Yeah, so we are getting there because we know that there is a kind of good correlation between your life expectancy and advancement of your country. So women seems to live longer in Tanzania than men, about 5 years. Why? We don't know. Yeah, but you may guess. So now, in those 63 years of independence reflection, so there are some key areas which they become like normal for now. So one of the key area is you want to make sure that your people have access to clean water. You want also to make sure that they have access to electricity. You want to make sure that they have access to the medical care. I see one of our great medical care personnel there. Access to free education, and so on and so on. People are no longer talking about the basic needs. Yeah, so it's no longer about basic needs. If you want to be competitive, you're going to talk about more stuff. So I will not cover all of those. I'll pick only 3 as a part of reflection to say where we were in 61, where we are now, and relative to the rest of the developing countries. So I'll be using UK as a comparison. I'm not necessarily trying to compare Tanzania to UK, but just to give you an insight, what does it mean to be developed country? Yeah. So I'll look on the access of electricity. By the time we got independency, I couldn't find the data when I was looking at. Only I went all the way back to 1992. Only 7% of the Tanzanians were having access to electricity. Only 7%. What does it mean? In every 100 people, is only 7 have electricity today. I've been in this country for 16 years. I've never seen a power cut. So you can imagine that, yeah? So by 2022, I'm proud to say now about 46% have electricity in Tanzania. So there's a massive jump of the increase, yeah? So we have seen big growth. So in terms of the power generation, based on the statistics, by 2020, we were generating 1.7 gigawatt of power, yeah? So 1 gigawatt of power in the entire country of 60 million people, 1.7 that. But we are increasing that capacity because I think you know the Nyerere will have like 2.1 gigawatt capacity. So I think in total come around 3 point something. But just to give one insight, I put relative to Birmingham. Birmingham alone has the capacity generated of 2 gigawatt. Just Birmingham, yeah? And then out of that, you have more than 1.46, which is coming from renewable. What does that mean? In UK, the sun is not visible most of the time, but their capacity in terms of solar is much more than Tanzania. Even though we have made a major step from 7% to 46%, now when you start to compare to the developing countries, you could see we still have a lot to do. So what does that mean? I know we are celebrating independence. It is our day today, but we need to open our eyes and we need to see where the world is heading, where we are, and what we need to do to be competitive. Yeah? So moving on, access to the medical care. So I think I could be wrong in this data. So these data that come from online, so they could be variable. So however, I think can't be that far away. So in terms of medical care, I'm proud to say the first Tanzanian female doctor who became a doctor 8 years after our independence is the aunt of my wife, Professor Esther Moikambo. I had the opportunity to talk, so she's a family. She come to us and all of that, and tell us the struggle and so on. Now, as of 2022, based on the data I found online, between 8,000 and 12,000 are the registered and practicing medical doctors. In total, you see there are 22,000, but not all of them are practicing. Yeah, I think you can verify those data, but that's what I managed to find. What does it mean? In every one person, in every one doctor, you need to look after 20,000 people. You see how bad it is. So 1 per 20,000. The recommendation of WHO, it has to be around 1 per 4,000 people. Yeah? So we have made a progress from the first female Professor Moikambo, 1969, to have 20,000 as of 2022. But yet, one doctor has to look after 20,000 people. Yeah? So we are celebrating, yet it's an eye-opener. Yeah? So if you compare to the UK, I like to compare to the UK because we all live in UK. We all sometimes complain. I went to the GP, he didn't look after me. You know, it's like this, it's like that, it's like this, it's like that. But in the UK, one GP is looking after 1,000 people, which is above the WHO recommendation. Yeah? So, what is the challenging our healthcare is facing? It's all about staffing shortages. Yeah? So we don't have enough staff. it's the cost of care and inadequate funding. So there's not enough funding. So I think we as diaspora, as we sit here with the expertise we have, let us not forget home. Let us not forget home. Yeah? Because sometimes we get distracted and focus on things which are not necessary. Yeah? So we have also a supply chain problem and access of the internet. Yeah? So if you go to the rural area, because sometimes if you live in Dar es Salaam, you feel, wow, see Magufuli fly over and all of that, you feel, oh, wow, that's it. But if you go interior, you see where we are. Yeah? So moving on, I hope it's visible. If you go to Google, just type 21st century technological global advancement. There's a lot of things happen. When I finished high school, 2001, I think my first email I opened in 2000. That's why my email is called OGM, Osman George Maganga, the first 2000. I opened in 2000. And it was so exciting at that time. Went to the internet cafe and sent an email to my brother who was pursuing his degree in Turkey. And it was so exciting, yeah? So back in the days, my dad came here in 79, for tour, industrial tour. He stayed all 2 years. He could only write a telegram to his wife. Yeah. So now we are talking globally. So there's a lot of things happened. Yeah. Facebook. Yeah. You have social media, and social media is a good thing, but it's a distractor. Yeah. Our young children, even our big people, our old people, busy on internet. If you look at the time you spend on internet, most of your time is just kill on internet, gaining nothing sometimes. Yeah. So there are so many things. If you type it, you get a lot of stuff coming up. But based on the domain where I am, I'll cover only 3 of those. I'll cover electric vehicles, driverless cars, which is autonomous vehicle, and artificial intelligence. What does it mean? And especially to us in Tanzania. Yeah, because those are opportunity. Are we ready for them? What are we doing in our policies? Are we making policies, regulations to welcome those advancements? That's what the thing I'll be touching. So now looking into electrical vehicles. Why electric vehicles? Why? The main of electric vehicles, I think most of you keep hearing net zero. You keep hearing about, global warming. So some people, they think this is science fiction. It's not. The reality is the temperature is rising. It's rising and it's coming out of control. And we have to calm the temperature down. And I've been told 5 minutes. Former lecturer, so we talk too much. I hope my brother will, need to be controlled. So I got 5 minutes. I may have to rush a little bit. Yeah, but the thing is, electric vehicle, the main reason is transportation is contributing to 1/5 into the global emissions, the CO2 emissions. There's a lot of emissions, and some of emissions, NOx, they are the one causing lung cancer and some respiratory diseases. Yeah, so you can see a lot of cancer cases in Africa and all the places because of the emissions. Not only the global warming in terms of the weather, but also the amount of the noble gases which are generated out of it. So to do emission reduction, we are mitigating by electrifying electrical vehicle powertrain. So electrification of electrical powertrain, basically you're trying to say you are replacing engine as your source of energy conversion from the fuel into electricity through battery. Yeah. So also in 1992 they introduced regulations because you cannot control the emission without putting regulation in place. So there was a Euro 1 which was introduced in 1992. Now there is going to be even tougher regulation in 2025, coming July. And the idea is every vehicle you're releasing has to go through certification. And we are in that process, massive pressure. Yeah. So now, I think this one stormed the news. You know, we have our next generation of electric car, Jaguar. All Jaguar, they will be electric. You're not gonna see any Jaguar combustion. It's gonna be pure electric. So, and our first generation of the JEA platform will come in 2026. Yeah. So now, just to give a quick summary, you have your source of energy is battery. So battery will allow you to achieve zero emission because it does not emit anything. There's no fuel required, and it's also cheaper. So you could buy 1 kilowatt of energy of battery by 7 pence. Yeah. So the challenge is still the charging time is not. And also interoperability. So interoperability means like if you take your car, go to another charger, it may not charge. So those type of challenges we're still facing. And you have also element in terms of performance of electric vehicles in cold climate, hot climate, and so on. So now, maybe just to move on, if you look on the right-hand side, you can see that that's the charging network in the UK, yeah? And then I did a quick search in Tanzania, and then only 2 pop-ups come in. Yeah, so I say, okay, let me check. Can I find some chargers? And then I saw only 1 in Dodoma. I'm coming from Dodoma, and 1 in Maswa. At least those are in the database. It could be more, but that's the case. So you can see that we are not catching up. So now imagine in our vision at Land Rover by 2039 to have pure electric in every aspect, if we can achieve. Which means in Tanzania, we are not catching up. So there is a disconnect. Yeah? So if you have 2 chargers, while the rest of the country, they're having more, it means we are not catching up with this advancement in the 21st century. Yeah? And of course, you have a hybrid plug-in, but I've been reminded it's 5 minutes, so let me just skip that a bit. Now, autonomous vehicle. Why autonomous vehicle? The idea of autonomous vehicle is it will increase the level of safety because the car will do all the decisions for you, and also you gain the time back. You know, while it's taking, you're gonna do your other stuff. Yeah, hopefully people will not chat more. Yeah, and also the traffic efficiency will increase because they're gonna be vehicle-to-vehicle communication. You'll have also accessibility, or people who don't want to drive or can't drive. Also they will benefit from that. So again, same question, are we ready? The answer is we are not ready. We are not ready because there is no infrastructure back home. We still have a lot of roads which are not paved ways. Yeah, they are not tarmac roads. So which means we don't have infrastructure. People are not following the rules, mixed. Can you imagine putting an autonomous car in Dar es Salaam or Mumbai, India? It's going to be disaster. It won't work. Yeah, and we don't have no policies, no plan. So I think if there is any official government, those are things which we need to think about. And we, diaspora, I really urge you, if you have any knowledge, any expertise on those, make sure that you are engaging with your home country to bring back home, because there's no point you are here and you don't contribute back home in any aspect. Yeah? So we need to be having that connection, because the country will be developed by us. Independence, or which our forefather fought, is not exactly the same which we need to fight. So there is also advancement in AI. You all know most of the things is AI now. You call the bank, AI chips in. You search anything, it gives you suggestion, AI. So AI is everywhere, yeah? So are we ready? Again, just to run quicker. Yeah, we don't have enough technical expertise back home. We have inadequate infrastructure. There is no enough investment in research and development. Yeah, these things need to be having research and development. And then our schools, our universities need to teach and change the curriculum to align with this type of technology. To finish, I love conclusions. And here I would like your attention, if you can. So as a nation, we need to be very proud of what we have achieved. Because if I think the time I was talking to my late grandfather, who passed away in 2017. If we tell you the story and the struggle of independence, I feel that's why at the beginning of the talk, I say I feel very glad I'm living in the right time. They fought hard. Luckily, we are not in that stage, yeah? So we live in the perfect time. So we need to celebrate. The milestone is good. However, we still have a long way to go to be competitive. I give you the summary about energy. I talk about the healthcare, I want to talk about education because I'm in the education sector, but it's going to go all over and over again, yeah? So we're taking things for granted. Let's stop doing that, Let's use this opportunity to reinvest back home. So we should reform of our education curriculum. Our education curriculum are outdated. They are not trained to teach people to become innovative and creative. They teach people to remember things. The exams are quite hard. They don't not stimulate people thinking. People are not thinking. You understand? So we need to change that, and we can influence that if we keep looking and working close with the people back home. Yeah? So we also need to review our policies. Yeah? Make new policies, especially to be aligned with the emerging technologies. The government. Yeah, I wish our ambassador was here. The message was to him and the rest of the government officials. Let us invest in research and development. There is no single country which developed without R&D. You can only develop if you invest in research and development. Yeah? So they need to utilize us diasporas to bring back home innovations, opportunities which we have harnessed abroad. Happy Independence Day, but keep working hard, guys.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maganga. From his